Welcome to HB Tuner's Ford Gen 2 Coyote Training, Part 35. This training module, we're going to be exploring our spark timing logic within our Gen 2 engine control modules. Now, our spark timing logic is going to be how the Ford engineers have designed the spark timing system to work. So where we have multiple tables that we can pull spark timing from, we can understand how the engine control module is going to be sourcing the correct amount of spark timing, and then how the knock control is going to be ultimately correcting the spark timing further in order to deliver the proper spark timing for the engine so it runs in safe and optimal conditions. We have a lot to cover. Let's jump in so we can check this out.
Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be taking a look at breaking down the spark timing programming logic and operation here in our Gen 2 Ford Coyote applications. The spark timing tables and the way that the spark timing is going to be interfacing within the knock control and the borderline, the maximum brake torque tables, and all the modifiers can be quite confusing. So we want to make sure that we're understanding fundamentally what's going on here. And then when we look through our data logs, we can understand and interpret what is going on with spark timing. Where is the spark timing being commanded from? And just understanding the overall operation of the spark timing so that if we need to go and change it, we know right where to go in to actually update the tables in order to either increase or decrease spark timing to try to get more performance out of the engine or make sure we don't have knock or pre-ignition occurring. There's a lot of details and layers to this. So we're just going to peel back these layers one by one and understand what's going on with our spark timing programming logic for our Gen 2 Coyote applications in this tutorial. First thing we want to do is open up a calibration file so we can follow along for reference, looking at all the various spark timing tables that we have here to work with. So what I'm going to do is jump up into File Open, and then we can go into our HB Tuners Gen 2 course folder. So let's go up here to Desktop. Let's go here and grab our HB Tuners Gen 2 Coyote folder. This is our course folder. We go to our Mustang example files, and then we're going to grab any of the files from any of the folders here, or you're welcome to open up your calibration file if you've downloaded that out of your ECU already. So let's go in here. I'm going to go to 2016, doesn't really matter. And in my folder here, I'm going to jump in and grab a 2016 Mustang GT just for reference here. So let's go ahead and grab that file. Let's click open. And now that I have the file open here, we're going to go in from our engine tab, and then we're going to move. Let's give this a second here to open up. We're going to go here from our general tab and then move across here into Spark. Now in here, we have our advanced tables, we have our retard tables, which is our knock control. We have our dwell, which is how we send the charging aspect to the coil. We'll just briefly touch on that because the dwell really is an important aspect here for programming spark timing. It's really related to spark energy. And finally here, we have knock sensor programming. We'll talk about that a little bit. Let's go in here to our advanced. This is where we have the meat and potatoes for what we have to work with within our spark timing routine. Let's go ahead and just open up this window right here. Okay, now in our window, we have all these various tables. It looks super overwhelming. If you look under the borderline, we have essentially 26, 27 tables that we could potentially deal with, or maximum brake torque. Same, we found all these different tables. And each of these tables will be uniquely paired to the VCT scheduling or the variable cam control, where the map points are called on for a particular rotation of the cam. So these spark timing tables are going to be dependent upon the overlap or the lack of overlap in the cams as they're running the engine, and it will relate to, depending on what the overlap is going to be, relate to the cylinder pressure. So if we have a lot of overlap, we have a lot of cylinder filling, the engine's efficient, we might be able to bump a little bit more spark timing in with that particular map point that we're calling on. If we have a situation where we dial out some overlap and we have less potential cylinder pressure or more potential cylinder pressure, again, depending on where the cam pairing's at, we might need more or less spark timing being called on. So we have all these various map points we can see here. So we have essentially 27 total tables for borderline or for maximum brake torque. But I'm talking about these different spark timing ranges. We see here borderline or maximum brake torque. We also see here we have things called pre-ignition or cylinder pressure. These are all different sources, essentially, where the spark timing can come from. Let's start to break this down of how this is actually going to work. Similar to the idea when we worked in our variable cam timing, the VCT scheduling, we know that we went from optimal stability to fuel economy to best drivability, then to optimal power, and we can shift back and forth between any of those various modes in the VCT scheduling. Same kind of idea here in the spark timing, although we like to just run in our borderline whenever possible. That means that we're focusing on really what the Ford engineers have designed to run for spark timing, although we could potentially run into maximum brake torque or pre-ignition or cylinder pressure, but we'll talk about the reference of what those actually mean. And then we'll also be taking a look at a data log here, just understanding what to look for in our log data in terms of calling out the spark source, telling us which particular set of tables here we're referencing for our spark timing, where the spark time is coming from, and then just a little bits of information that we need to know just looking at a data log. We will be taking a look in the next tutorial at actually going in with the vehicle and making some changes, just bolt-on Coyote, making some changes and seeing some cause and effect by altering the spark timing and just being able to track things maybe a little bit more in depth than what we're going to be going on in here. But let's jump in here and start to talk about this. So I'm going to start off at the very top of the screen over here under General, start off at Flex Fuel, and we'll work our way up and down the screen from left to right, and then we'll go across other tabs here.
Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.